What's up, y'all? Brandon still hide behind Christina. Russell's still over here lying to Colby. And Anthony, well, he's still being a big old Mitch. Love and Marriage Detroit, season 1, episode 6. Let's get into this mess, y'all. So we still at Coney Island arguing, Anthony and Brandon and Christina. And Anthony is trying to make the issue between Brandon and Russell an issue between him and Brandon, which is weird. Like, that's your boy for the last 20 years, but now all of a sudden you can't trust him because of some shit that happened with him and Russell, which really wasn't that big of a deal. But it's giving Anthony wants to be the leader of the pack, and I don't know really what's going on with him and Brandon. Like, I can't tell they've been friends for 20 years. And in this whole argument, Christina's sitting there, she just going hard with Anthony. Brandon ain't doing nothing. Brandon is sitting there with his chin in his hand while Christina and Anthony are arguing back and forth. Now, I find it interesting, Anthony, that you claim you didn't want to what'd you say? You couldn't, you a better man than me, because I would have, choked him out if he would have been talking to my wife like that. But here you go again for the third time, screaming at this lady. And Christina, you going awfully hard for Brandon, who had nothing to say on your behalf. I just, it's so irritating, because when his friends were coming at her, he sat there for a minute and then he joined in on the fight. So it makes no sense, but I guess it's almost like they decided to change their mind and, we're coming through as this united front now. We're not arguing anymore. Ciao. Anthony is projecting big time, like telling her she's trying to flip things around, and she's not. She's speaking very clearly. You are full of shit, trying to cut Brandon out of the showcase, which is whack. And you're trying to make it seem like this whole argument and it wasn't even an argument. This issue between Russell and Brandon somehow has something to do with you. But, she going hard for her husband, and he is once again arguing with a woman. Anthony. He had the nerve to say she was trying to manipulate Colby. No, she's not. She's not trying to manipulate Colby. I don't see it like that. I think she's bullshitting. I think she's full of shit, but there's no manipulation going on over there. She's being fake, like Latoya said. But at the end of the day, sorry, I don't know where that came from. At the end of the day, none of it has anything to do with Anthony. I don't know what he even had to meet up with them for. He could have really just took his ass to the birthday party and let Russell and Brandon figure out how they're going to handle whatever it is they got going on. He didn't say nothing about your wife. Although there's plenty to say, Miss Latoya, who could find fault in everyone except your bitch ass husband. Jesus. It was irritating watching Brady say nothing too. While I'm watching Brandon say nothing. Like he's literally looking at Latoya fight for him. I mean, looking at Christina fight for him. So over at Anthony and Latoya's home, they have a beautiful home. They're outside chilling with the kids by the pool. And, he asked her about the party. And Latoya seems to be very bothered that Christina didn't even call Colby and tell her happy birthday. Well, Latoya, they're not speaking right now. They were actually uninvited to the party. So if you uninvite me to your party, regardless to what your reason is, what am I going to call you and tell you happy birthday for? That makes no sense. And you, just like Anthony, like, what do they have to do with you? Why are you bothered? I don't see Colby that bothered. And Colby, she has no problems speaking up for herself. So I don't see why you feel like you need to, like, cape on her behalf so hard, because it's really not necessary. I'm questioning whether or not they were friends at all ever. They went from big sister, little sister to two bitches that influence on the internet and don't get along. I feel like Anthony and Latoya are big hypocrites. They sitting there discussing other people's marriage or, drama. Christina sitting up there like, I just don't like no drama. Like, no matter who it is, even if it's us, which we would never be doing something like that. Yeah, because she brought up the lavender field. Everywhere we go, the Christina, I don't know what their last name is. Christina and Brandon are causing drama at the lavender field. Well, that was Anthony over there bitching at the lavender field, starting drama. But between Anthony and Colby, they started that mess over there at the lavender field. Brandon, the punk he is, was trying not to talk about any of that at the wine event. Again, that was your husband starting drama. I don't know how, at the end of the day, if it was me, I would be so much more angry at my husband than I would be at them. He sat there howling and screaming at that girl as if, she did something really wrong, except for ask him, why are you so invested in their business? He was hollering at Christina and you sat there and said nothing. But now all of a sudden it's Brandon and Christina. Now at the bowling alley, it's a bowling alley. First of all, I don't know how embarrassed you had to be. Like, so far, y'all been to the Coney Island and to the bowling alley. So what are you embarrassed about? But that was Christina and Colby. And had Russell and the rest of the men that brought their ass over there, that Russell involved himself, standing up for his wife. And then Brandon inserted himself and it turned into a thing, but it did not start with Christina and Brandon at the bowling alley. That was not even a fight. That was Christina and what's this girl's name? Colby going at it about nothing. Why you didn't pick up the phone and all of that foolishness. There's some jealousy or something going on between those two. But again, Latoya don't have nothing to do with you. You sitting up there talking about y'all would never do that. So far, y'all have involved yourself every single time. Well, you haven't, but your husband has. Maybe you should reel him in. Maybe you should be having this conversation with him, like Russell did. Russell told Colby, stay out of people's business. Have that conversation with Anthony, because he stay up in somebody's business, and he's always saying, I want to see y'all win. No, you don't. You really don't. Child. Then Anthony says that he really thinks that they need to get together and find some common ground. And once they do that, have a conversation, then they should go on I just got the yawns out the blue. Then they should go on a trip together. Yeah, I don't know. His solutions don't make no sense. It's like Anthony be watching reality shows and seeing how things generally play out. Anthony and Latoya, I won't even say Latoya so much, but Anthony wants to be like the lead couple. Brandon and Christina see themselves as the lead couple. Low-key, Russell and Colby, they're the pretty people over there, so they see them. So ain't no leads. And I was kind of in like the first week or two, but now I'm just like, y'all are making up. It's like being on a hamster wheel. Y'all fussing about something that ain't need to be fussed about. There's no real resolution. There's no real reason for the heightened energy that's happening, Anthony. And again, Miss Latoya, can we go over to the river when y'all was on the boat and Anthony sat up there, snot running down his face and crying because you didn't let him stay in Atlanta? Like, again, seems like the common denominator of drama is your husband. That's who it is. Anthony thinks Brandon needs to apologize to everyone. Why? What is he saying sorry to everybody? I don't even like Brandon. But why is he saying sorry to everyone? He should say sorry to Colby for calling her a name. He should possibly say sorry to Russell, since that's supposed to be his friend. And he, was calling his wife out of her name, like not nothing tragic. Like he didn't call her a bitch. He just said she was a Colby cat. Like y'all are, come on. So Colby and Russell are at their house, and he telling her about the gym. The gym situation is on and popping. He about to head over there and finish negotiating the deal. She ain't heard nothing about it since the bowling alley, so I don't know how much time has passed between now. Owen didn't need to take a nap. Jeez. I don't know what's going on between now and bowling alley day, but he has clearly not involved her anymore. Now he's down to negotiating finances. I think that's weird. Now we're just now getting to the finances. Finances should have been at the first in line, but I mean, if you want to go ahead, what was drawing you? If it wasn't the money, what's drawing you there? Like you could buy some workout equipment, put it in your basement. I be trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I've been trying to give Russell the benefit of the doubt because not because he's cute, because that don't move me. It's because they're a young couple, and I was just hoping for something better, but every week, it's like I don't know who's worse because they're all very horrible, to be honest. Colby needs to really figure out how to collab with her husband and forget about collaborating with Christina. Because while you over here trying to collab with Christina, your husband has a whole life going on and not involving you in any of it. And I really wonder, what do y'all discuss before marriage? What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't telling you nothing. And you just saying, well, keep me posted. He's not. He's headed over. He's literally tying his shoes to go have a conversation with the owner. And you talking about you want to know, basically the man already told him. He neglected to give you that information. The man said took him 3 years before he was making any money or profit in that business. So we all know that. You don't know that because Russell ain't saying nothing, which is ridiculous. And it's because he doesn't respect you, Colby. I'm sorry. I think y'all are cute as the devil, but he just doesn't. He doesn't respect you. You're just a little woman that should sit down and do with stuff, because he said so. And I don't know that he's the best leader. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know what your man is doing up there. Christina's been invited back to the Star Factory now that this whole situation with Anthony has gone down the way it has. And, he's a little bit, scared of Russell still. So he has to have Christina come in and handle that lightweight for him. He don't want to be arguing with Anthony, but she does a way better job of handling Anthony, arguing him down than he does. So he invited her back. She walks in and he talking about, hey, scrumptious. I was like, oh, she's scrumptious now? Because you couldn't stand it a couple weeks ago, so much so that you took a walk and never came home. But maybe that's what it takes for you to realize how scrumptious your wife is, fool. He said Christina has been helping him out with the showcase, and she's actually been promoted to the what is she? She's the stage manager and the buffer, the between him and Anthony in case something pop off. So you literally are putting your wife in between some dude that you got an issue with. If that ain't some punk shit, I don't know what is. I would never. My man would never put me in a position between him and another nigga. That's some lame shit. I'm sorry. That's super lame. But she's glad to do it because she's back in the factory. I don't know if she gets to actually interact with the artist or who they are, but yeah, she's in there. Brandon said he talked to, no, he said Anthony called him and told him that he's got 3 slots. There's 25 artists supposed to perform, and he's giving Brandon 3 slots. I'm not understanding what Anthony got going on. I'm sorry, y'all, but I keep like, first of all, I'm sitting on my bed. I'm not really like on this lovely patio. I'm sitting on my bed, but so I keep wiggling around. I'm trying to not do that. Anyway, I don't know what Anthony is doing. I don't know why he thinks it's cool to like cut Brandon out the way he has. I feel like Brandon should have been invited to all of the meetings so they can discuss things in a fair way. But maybe Anthony is afraid that he's going to be outshined somehow or another. I don't know. I don't know what Brandon does, but whatever it is, it's like he's trying to stun him. Like I'm the boss of this thing, and I will let you be a part. So y'all were working together to create this showcase, and at first it was a 2-person thing, and y'all brought Bravo in because he has the venue. I still don't know what Russell's part is in this whole thing. So okay. And now you're telling him he has 3 slots because somebody named what? DJ Mix, he has the other half. And Brandon had a conversation with DJ Mix. And I'm glad he did that because at first he seemed like he was really intimidated by having Mix be a part of it. But now that he's had a conversation with Mix, they've come to an understanding, and that's what it's going to take for it to be fair. Anthony, you don't get to make all the decisions. If all of y'all are involved, then all y'all should sit together and make decisions together on what's going to be what. If Brandon is over here with artists, and Brandon said 25 is a lot, and I think 25 is a lot too. I don't want to come see 25 artists. But then he said him and DJ Mix are going to split it up 10 and 10. That's still a lot, but that's a lot. That's a lot of performing. How long is that going to take? I feel like 10 probably should be enough. Should be 5 and 5, not 10 and 10. But he said it sounded like a money grab. Anthony said he wasn't trying to make money off it. Brandon said he wasn't trying to make money off of it. I don't know what the plan is with the funding or who's trying to make this money, but it's definitely a good idea that Brandon reached out to this DJ Mix person, because if not, he gonna be over here in his feelings. And Bravo and Russell and DJ Mix, none of them know what's going on. Apparently, they just go and letting Anthony tell them whatever and moving along. And you left out here about to not have no showcase. They're gonna be charging you a fee to get in the door. Shoot. So Anthony apparently said something like it doesn't matter because they basically have the same artist anyway. Anthony has artists, and Brandon said he don't know what Anthony do. But why not? Because y'all been friends for 20 years. Now both of you are trying to downplay each other's space in this entertainment business. I don't feel like either one of you actually have any significant space. Like I said, what do Anthony do for what is it that he worked for? Rock Nation or Live Nation. What does he do for Live Nation? We don't know. We don't know what he does. I hand out flyers. I don't know if he's the flyer guy or what he is, but he's not somebody like you talking about. As much as Anthony keeps saying he doesn't trust Brandon, I don't trust Anthony. I wouldn't trust him because he's making all these side moves. I don't know. He think he the king of the city. Do he know Red over there in Dallas? Because Red is the king of Dallas, and is he the king of Detroit? I'm gonna go with I don't think so. I'm sorry, but I don't believe he's the king of Detroit. Kobe's friend Chelsea comes over. She asked a little bit about the party, but they didn't really get into too much detail about that. Chelsea was the one that helped Russell put the whole thing together. So she knows, she helped throw the party for the most part. But Kobe wanted to change the subject and talk about how Russell is bulldozing ahead with these, career changes and life-changing decisions and not including her. And Chelsea's like, no, you got to nip that in the bud. I guess, Chelsea, it doesn't look like she has any choice. And I wonder, like, how does the beginning of this dynamic, like when y'all were in the dating process, because she says she feels more like, a girlfriend than a wife, because I'm guessing because she said he was single for 7 years. And then now he has to learn how to, be a partner. How long were y'all together before? Like he wasn't single for 7 years and then you got married. So how long were you guys dating? We know Christina and Brandon has 6 months over there and she didn't even live in the city. I'm guessing you and Russell were at least in the same city. But when you decided that you wanted to be married, don't the pastor supposed to be giving y'all counseling? Well, I'm going to go to her daddy for counseling because her daddy has some whacked out views as far as what women are supposed to be doing. But how was the dynamic? What was the understanding? Like people be going to get married for what? That you didn't have any type of understanding. Like, so what happens with us in the future? Like, if we have a business, if both of y'all are entrepreneurs, because if one person is a doctor, like Dr. Latoya over there, she still has a business outside of being a doctor, and her husband seems quite a bit involved in terms of marketing and working to make the business a success. So I'm wondering, what was the dynamic before? Did you think that you were going to be his girlfriend, and then once he put a ring on your finger, all of a sudden he was going to start changing his behaviors? Because that's not how that works. And she just turned 30, so maybe that's the downside of being somebody's wife when you're so young. Because I don't think Russell's clearly older than 30, but there's some smart women out there. I'm sorry, college educated 30-year-old women who understand that I want to be a part of this partnership. Nobody's signing up to have you just tell them what to do. Just stand there and be pretty and be my wife, and I'll decide how things are supposed to happen without having no type of discussion. So like I said, I wonder what the discussion was before y'all got married. She said he's macho and dominant and a leader. Only to you, Kobe. Only to you. I mean, he might be macho. Um, he's definitely not a leader. He's not. And you can't be, threatening to break people's bones as a leader. That's not how you get people to follow. Leaders lead by example, and I don't see him being an example to nothing. And what does that say about you? Because he did say like a week or so ago, like it's our job to, what did he say? Irk my nerves. We're supposed to be an example to our wives or whatever it is. He said that, diminish the role of a woman. Like he does see himself as like this. I don't want to call the man a leader because he ain't leading nothing. So superior. I think he finds himself as superior, very much patriarchal in the way he thinks. And so, girl, you picked him. You must have been fascinated with his arms the same way y'all said the ladies be like, can I touch your arms? I mean, okay. Kind of tight shirt is he wearing? The people just walking up to him and want to touch his arms. Okay, Pastor. Christina meets up with the publicist. This was really weird. So she said, the fact that she's a new mom, she had to back out, of whatever it is she was doing, slow down, and now she's ready to get back out there. So you and your husband both is back on the same page with this get back out there plan. I don't know. He's not a new mom, so I don't know what kept him from being out there besides you, who told him he's not allowed to go to the club. And then you said new mom. Those kids are not babies. They're young children. They're not babies. So you've been sitting down for the last 6 years. Is that why you're so angry with Colby? Because she came in and slid in that spot. Now you got to catch up. So she's speaking with the publicist. And I think the publicist wouldn't have no issue working with her, but there's some mess because this publicist is Anthony's publicist. And apparently Anthony told her that I'm surprised that Christina wants to work with you because Brandon don't like you. See, that's some more bitch shit, because what difference does that make? What does that have to do with Christina? I'm not clear. Christina's business, and Brandon is not an influencer. And if Christina is interested in doing business with this lady, what does it matter what Brandon thinks if she's willing to still do it? Anthony just messy. He is just so messy. It's ridiculous. I mean, the publicist just put it out there. She was like, I asked Anthony, is it okay, like, if I say him, he's the one that told me this, and because she's like, before I get to working with anybody, I'm trying to figure out, like, find out from the horse's mouth, what's tea? Because if you don't like me and your husband doesn't like me, what do you want me around for? I don't know, child. I'm guessing they'll get to the bottom of it. I don't know what the publicist is going to decide to do. I think it might be a little bit of a conflict of interest for her to be working with all three of them, because she's Russell. Is she the publicist for Colby too? See, that's how y'all stuff be getting mixed up together, because y'all are using the same people to do things. The publicist is Anthony's publicist and possibly Russell and them's publicist. And then now you want him to be your publicist too? Well, who being a copycat now, Christina? You copycat over there stealing people's publicists? Huh. So it's a meetup. Russell is hosting a Bible study. And I was like, are they at the club? Where's this Bible study at? Because it looked like a club. It didn't look like, it did, I don't know. I don't know where they were, child. But it was just Russell, Anthony, Brandon, and Bravo. He's a part of the Bible study too. So they come in and sit down, and before things get started, Russell, everybody comes with their Bible. It's kind of annoying to me. It's not just kind of annoying, it's very annoying how they keep like blending the Bible and with their bullshit. It just don't seem so holy, Anyway, Russell, told Brandon, like, before we get started, we need to talk about the situation that happened, because the last time I seen you, I told you I would break every bone in your body. And I mean, that day, that's what I meant. Moving forward, we've been friends for a long time, and I really don't want us to be arguing and fighting over you saying Colby Cat, because we all know that that's not that big of a deal. Like I said, it was enough for him to say sorry. Now, him telling Brandon that didn't bother me, because like I said, Brandon is a little jerk, and he might need you to like really sting him a little bit before he before he sit down. So they squashed it. It was a no big deal, sorry, and moving on. I shouldn't have said that about your wife, and they're done. They're done. Anthony, of course, he needs to bring up some more mess. I don't know if I need a cup of coffee or a nap. So Russell asked, he said, before we move on, though, I guess Christina called Russell and told him, was asking him about the drama with the publicist, and somehow said the publicist had brought their name into it. And he was like, how did I get brought into it? Thing one. Thing two, you might even discuss the situation with my wife. So before we talk about anything else, we need to discuss that. And he's right. But Christina thinks she's slick. And now it's he said, because Anthony said, Brandon said he didn't like the publicist. Brandon said he don't remember that. He didn't do that, ain't true. So now he calling, you are lying. You are looking in my face and bold face lying. That's Anthony telling Brandon. And Brandon is like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. So now they're throwing shots at each other. Bravo's confused. Thank you, Bravo, because I really get a kick out of your confusion. I don't know why that tickles me so much, but when Bravo gets in the middle of the mix, And he gets to looking back and forth like, what the heck is going on? This doesn't make any sense. Because at the end of the day, Bravo is like, I just thought we were going to handle some business. I didn't not know you two bitches were going to be up in here arguing each other, pulling hair, and windmill fighting. Because that's what it's giving. Well, when Bravo entered himself in the conversation, now we're arguing about the showcase. So we're no longer arguing about Colby Cat. Now we're arguing about the showcase. Anthony over there name calling this man little boy and little fella. And don't even try me, little boy. Don't even come at me like that, little boy, little fella. He knows out of me. I mean, Brandon was at the bottom of my list, but not anymore. Now Anthony is, because he's such a little punk. Like, he be doing the most bitch-made shit. The argument was so dumb. Now they're arguing about who does. I don't know what you do. You don't do nothing. This is what I do. You don't know. Man, this is what I made millions. And Brandon was like, with your daddy's money, and oh boy, he struck a chord then, because he does not want, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I made my money. I made millions before I was 23 years old, or whatever he said. He was turned up. And Brandon was just sitting there like he was doing that same thing Christina was doing, taking little jabs and watching Anthony implode. It was kind of funny, actually. I enjoyed it. And when somebody knows you for 20 years, they know what jabs to take at you. So, you done went around the corner and pissed off your best friend of 20 years. And so on Mad Day, he's pulling out some little tea. I don't know if his parents or his father were wealthy. I don't know. But I know when he said something about your daddy's money, he diminished the fact that you didn't make the money, which is a thorn in your side, because everybody already believes that Dr. LaToya is over there financing your lifestyle. So you ain't got no money. We don't even know what you do. And Anthony's like, I ain't know even stars came out of the Star Factory. And Brandon, we were asking about that. Like, now that he mentions it, we've all been curious what you're doing down there on 8 Mile with the beat maker machine. Like, his studio setup looks like that of a teenage boy on Twitch. I'm just saying. Bravo is leading, the Bible study. I didn't see nobody with no Bible, to be honest. Bravo is leading the showcase meeting because he's like, I didn't got my name involved in it. So I want to know, he said, both of y'all are throwing shots that's making you look even less professional than we know you are. And he's right. So Bravo talked them off the edge and let them know how ridiculous they sound, because they really start like it got it so juvenile, like booger head, doo-doo head. Like, that's how juvenile they sounded in that silly ass argument over nothing. And of course, Anthony at the end of every argument says, like, I want us to be together. I want this brotherhood. I want you to win. He wants nobody to win but Anthony. So Russell sat there, much like Dr. LaToya, not saying anything. I was like, can y'all give Bravo the gavel? Because Bravo is the one that led the meeting that brought the boys back together. So on that note, they just, dapped it up, hugged it out, held hands, said a prayer, and all was well in the land of, Two Bitches and a Liar. And Bravo as a special guest star. Again, another argument about nothing. Okay, Detroit, like, I had high hopes for you. My hopes are dwindling. It's just exhausting. Like, it was torturous to watch. And it's because there were arguments. Every scene was a fight. Every scene was a fight about nothing. People not picking up the phone, talking to each other. And Bravo is like, I guess, making checks and balances. He's like, okay, from now on, anything that comes up, I'll do the calling. I'll talk to everyone and make sure everything is being communicated to everyone. Thank you, Bravo. Good grief. Colby and Christina might meet up for some lunch somewhere, some little spot. I don't know. It's annoying too because they're still having the same argument. Why didn't you call me? I wanted to meet you in person. No, you didn't, Christina. Stop saying that. You wanted to avoid the situation. You wanted to stun her and make her wait until you got ready to talk about it. And then you called her husband on some other shit and it pissed her off. So, the scene ended with Colby talking about, don't you ever call my husband. And it wasn't even on no jealousy nonsense. It wasn't on she thought something shady was going on. It was, you and I are fighting. We are not talking. Rather than you address that, you want to find out about this gossip about Anthony. You call Russell to find out about this gossip about Anthony and the publicist of who said what, but you don't want to talk to Christina. So you sidestep Christina and call her husband. Her husband told you he wasn't talking to you until you fix that shit with his wife. And Christina, that's that shit. You and Brandon be doing the same thing because ain't no way in the world like you sit up there acting like it was all innocent. If I'm not talking to somebody, I'm not gonna be like, let me call her husband Bob and see what Bob said, because I already know like Bob's loyalty is to his wife. That's crazy. So yeah, that's where that ended, with Colby screaming in her loud Colby voice, don't ever call my husband, child. Nothing is actually happening. We're going to have a march with no marchers, and we're going to have a showcase with no show. I bet you that's how it's going to go. Unless DJ Mix can come in here and make it a thing, we're going to pause, but that's just my prediction. My prediction is we're going to have a march with nobody but Marceau, and we're going to have a showcase with nobody but that lady that was down to the Star Factory singing to herself in the mirror. You know what? Carlos is spending a whole lot of time interviewing Nene. I haven't watched the second interview yet, and I don't know if I'll even bring myself to do it. I'll probably just watch other people's review of the interview because I'm tired of him and I'm tired of Nene. He should focus on this. You should not worry about Bravo, not at all, because this right here is stupid. And they're just in the 6th episode of their first season. We're already tired of Huntsville. And if this is what DC, I don't care if they come back. I mean, there's nobody in DC that I really care to see. So, Carlos, focus on your own thing. Focus on your own thing. Focus on your own ratings. You always talk about ratings. Have you ever had 500,000 viewers on your ratings? Or however many, you criticize in Real Housewives for having. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. You can follow me, Just Rhonda _01 on Instagram, TikTok, and X. That's it, y'all. See you on the next one. Bye.